don't just use us for a marketing campaign to sell your product. Don't just, put a picture of a blind guy using your product to make more money to sell more things. Actually allow us to have a seat at your table. Make your systems, your websites, your applications accessible for us. Um, Give us the job. Let us represent your company in more than just a performative way, but in an integral way that actually can make a difference, not only for the company, for the world at large, and for that disabled person's life.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of our WCAT podcast, Spilling the Tea on Digital Accessibility. If you don't know, the ADA's 36th anniversary is on July 26th. Today is July 22nd, but you will probably hear this episode after the anniversary is already passed. But we at Accessibility Officer wanted just to swing by and highlight the importance of the ADA for people like us, people with visual disabilities. Ellie, what do you think about that? Tell me, well, first off, I mean, we know how um, the ADA has affected you and what your disability means, but talk to me a little bit about some of the things you've seen happen so far in Disability Pride Month.
So, as B said, July 26th is the 36th anniversary of the ADA being implemented back in 1991. Or was it 1990? Oh my God.
Well,
Was it 90?
2026 minus 36 is 1990. So,
Yeah. I am not mathing today. But yeah, and I should know because I was born in 91 and I'm 35. So yeah.
yep.
Anyway, um, one thing that intersects every year with the anniversary of the ADA is Disability Pride Month. Um, so it happens right after the other Pride Month, and our flags are actually pretty similar. In some ways, it's multicolored, it's got stripes, but what the meaning is completely different.
I actually don't know. And I feel like a horrible person, but I actually don't know what the colors on the Disability Pride flag mean. Can you just quickly go over that real quick?
Yeah. So the current iteration of the flag is a charcoal gray kind of rectangle background,
Hmm.
and it has stripes that kind of go from the top left corner down to the right. They're like diagonal.
Hmm.
And there's five of them, and they're kind of muted colors. They're not
Okay.
super super bright in your face.
Okay.
So the stripes are kind of straight and kind of close together instead of being that like traditional horizontal rainbow.
Hmm.
So it was created by Anne McGill, and it was revised in 2021 after the disability community kind of came forward and gave the feedback that the current colors were causing some sensory difficulties for some people with certain visual disabilities. So they ended up
Mm.
changing it.
Okay.
Um, so each of these colors, the red stripe is for physical disabilities.
Okay.
The gold or yellow one is for neurodivergence, so autism and other forms of neurodivergence.
Hmm.
White is for invisible or undiagnosed disabilities. So
Okay.
someone knows they have some kind of disability, but it doesn't fit neatly into some diagnosis box. Um, Blue is for emotional and psychiatric disabilities.
Mm.
Green is for sensory disabilities. That's for us. Yay, green for blindness and deafness and other types of sensory.
Gotcha.
Um, and then the dark gray background actually also has meaning. It's representative of the mourning and the anger for the disabilities that were killed or harmed in
Mm.
ableist violence and
Yeah.
abuse.
Well, that's awesome. I am a horrible disabled person because I didn't know what that flag looked like. But now that I know, that's cool.
Hmm.
So if you are a listener and you have a disability, please comment to let us know what color stripe best identifies you. Or just let us know that that you are listening and we appreciate you guys sharing, listening, subscribing, downloading. The numbers are astounding. I say this a lot, and I seriously cannot believe that there have been so many people listening to Ellie and I, and it just literally boggles my mind. But yeah, we love the engagement going on. We love how you guys are letting us know that you agree with me that pineapple is great, but does not belong on pizza. So for those of you who agree with me, awesome, great to have you. For those of you who disagree with me, the door is that way. No, I'm just kidding. But Disability Pride Month is so important because I see a lot of big companies out there touting so and so for being their token disabled person on their team. And then you go to their website and it's just wholly inaccessible and it kind of just derails their entire platform, and I find it to be kind of ironic in a sad sort of way. And so, I don't want to name any companies or anything like that, but this happens a lot. Y- So and such company says, "Oh, hey, here's Billy Bob. Billy Bob is our blind customer service representative. He's been working for 7 years." And then there's like a video of Billy Bob and awesome job. I appreciate that Billy Bob is, you know, adding to the our mission, which is that all the U.S. blind unemployment rate is the same as the U.S. unemployment rate. So that's awesome. But the company is using Billy Bob to be basically inspiration porn, and we want to be careful of that as at least I do as someone who is disabled because great job for Billy Bob, but no more greater job than his coworker Jane, who's worked just as hard to get where she is.
Yeah.
And so just wanted to be very cognizant of that fact that inspiration porn is not what we live our lives for. So, then when you go to the websites and explore more about what the company does and maybe even try to get a career with that company, it's like, oh, wow, images lack all text, color contrast up the wazoo. This form field is totally inaccessible. It has no visual labels, has no programmatic names on these form fields. Buttons aren't labeled. And you'll see that happen a lot. And I also seen companies who slap an overlay on, and we should have another podcast, Ellie, just putting that as a note to
Oh,
talk about
yeah.
the overlay. It's okay for you to disagree with me, but you can be wrong. Just kidding. No, really, if you are a proponent for an overlay, for a digital accessibility overlay, please, again, dialogue with me in the comments. Let me know why I'm wrong. Always happy to expand my horizons. But yeah, anyways, these companies slap on an overlay on their websites and consider them accessible when that's absolutely far from the case. I've seen overlays that, make the problems worse. So, yeah, that's kind of, what I thought when I hear of Disability Pride Month, the disability inspiration that people use to further their own goals rather than simply celebrating the fact that this is the only demographic of individuals that anyone may join at any time.
For any reason.
Hmm.
Yep. And to further that point, the theme for the 2026 Disability Pride Month is "The World Works Better with Us." And that was selected by an organization called the ARC, which is a disability led advocacy organization full of a bunch of disabled advocates that are out there doing a lot of good in the world. And their point is don't just use us for a marketing campaign to sell your product. Don't just, put a picture of a blind guy using your product to make more money to sell more things. Actually allow us to have a seat at your table. Make your systems, your websites, your applications accessible for us. Um, Give us the job. Let us represent your company in more than just a performative way, but in an integral way that actually can make difference, not only for the company, for the world at large, and for that disabled person's life.
Absolutely. I just saw a statistic, and I'm not sure if it's true, but the in 2026, the disabled is unemployment rate is 9.2% and 4.3% for non-disabled workers. So that's a pretty huge gap considering that there are fewer um, disabled workers, and then also that it's almost twice the well, it is more than twice the value. And
Mhm.
so I feel like Disability Pride Month, all those companies, all those people posting about it, they don't mention these things. And this is what Accessibility Officer is all about, that we're trying to bridge that gap. And I think that, it's an amazing mission. It's an awesome mission. So if you are a listener and you have a disability, whether that is disclosed or undisclosed, that is your personal prerogative. But you're looking for employment, please reach out to us at Accessibility Officer, learn about what digital accessibility is, who we are, what we do, and how we can, at the culmination of our 18-week certified accessibility tester program, give you guaranteed part-time employment as an apprentice here at AO.
Yep.
Um, so definitely just want to bring that up because you know um, it's good to talk about what all these disabled people are doing for the community, which is awesome. I appreciate it so much, but I also just want to make sure that we understand that there's so much more work to do, and we all need to do our own parts to continue moving forward.
Yep. We need to walk the walk as well as talk the talk.
Exactly. Yep. I also saw, ironically, there was an image on social media um, where they were touting their you know the Disability Pride Month, and there were images that lacked alt text. So I just found it to be kind of ironic at the same time. So, it makes you wonder who wrote those posts, who uploaded those images, right? Was it someone with a disability, or was it just, let's see how we can push the social media numbers up and get engagement and interaction? Which, I guess that sounds a little cynical of me, and I do apologize. That's not my intention. I just know what little information I'm able to elucidate upon, because I pretty much live under a rock. And but that I'm just trying to share some observations that I found to be a little ironic. But yeah, Ellie, have you seen any fun, interesting posts, touting touting Disability Pride Month?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, like, are you talking about the good ones or the bad
Yeah,
ones?
I don't care what, good and bad, because I think it's important to be able to see both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I think, and again, I don't want to name any companies in a negative light because that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to shame anyone. We're here to educate. Um, so, posts from organizations like the National Federation for the Blind, the ARC, disability led organizations tend to have the best posts because they're asking people with disabilities for their input. Whereas a larger amount of people who have companies, sometimes big companies, will put these token efforts out there to show inclusivity, right? But you can kind of tell by reading their posts that they probably did not ask for any input from anyone who actually has a
Yeah.
disability.
Yeah, for sure.
And if they did, maybe only one,
Hmm.
because that's the other kind of expectation that the world has for us, is that every single person's disability experience is the
The
same,
same.
when that could not be further from the truth.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Ellie and I, we're both blind, we're both screen readers, we're both parents, and we disagree on a lot of different things all the time, and that's perfectly okay. I again don't want to get into anything crazy, but I do feel like the world kind of has devolved into a place where if you dare to disagree with someone, you become persona non grata. And I think it's perfectly fine for someone to disagree with me, so long as you can have a respectful, engaging dialogue with me. So, again, if you're a listener and you disagree with anything that I've said, or if you agree with some of the stuff we've said, or if you have your own stories you'd love to share, we want to hear from you. We like knowing that there's people that are being affected by listening to this podcast. Appreciate all the listeners from all over the world, from the United States. Let us know what state you're listening in from Chile to Vietnam, South Korea. Um, try to get some of the North Koreans to come listen too, if you can. Um, Russia, Chile. Did I say Chile already? Um, yeah, so let us know where you're listening in from. Let us know who your favorite host is. If you don't say me, then again, you can leave with those pineapple loving freaks. Um, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and if
Um,
you're a pineapple loving freak like me, you can let me know.
yeah, hashtag Ellie pineapple if you're on Team Ellie, and hashtag Yang pineapple if you're on B's team. Um, but let us know. We love that engagement. We love people commenting. Ellie and I will do better about engaging with you in the comments so that you can know that we're not just two AI robots who've been given random scripts. We're living, breathing people who occasionally make mistakes. More Ellie more so
Occasionally.
than obviously. Um, but yeah, you guys, Disability Pride Month is so important because this is something that people notice. Well, for some of us, people notice this right off the bat, and it becomes our defining feature to that other person. And so, they see me walking down the street, they're not going to think, um,
Random
dad,
guy.
yeah,
You're blind guy.
musician. They're gonna think blind guy with with a stick, and so then it behooves me to show them that I'm just another random Joe. I put my pants on one leg at a time, and nothing's different about me. Like it's not amazing that I can walk to the store and purchase groceries. It's not amazing that I have a job. It is amazing that I have two beautiful kids though. And I think of that as more of one of my defining features than the fact that I'm blind, the fact that I'm Asian, the fact that I am working as a digital accessibility specialist. And so, I wanna, these are things, that's one thing that I take immense pride in. And the fact that I am blind, and I'm living this life, I just want to show the world through word, through deed, that I'm just an average guy. And I
Yep.
think that's kind of what I perceive to be Disability Pride Month. I'm proud of the people who've come before and who've paved the path and made my life easier. I am so incredibly thankful for the ADA because my parents were immigrants from Southeast Asian countries, and people who have a disability in those third world countries do not lead as good of a life as I do here in the United States, where I have access to services, access to education, access to people who will fight for my rights, people who've taught me to fight for my own rights, for my own self-advocacy. So I'm incredibly thankful for the people who've come before, for the people who are working now to open awareness And if you are one of those people, let us know how you are fighting the good fight. I want to hear from you. I want to thank you. I want to congratulate you, but not in an inspirational porn kind of way, but in a way that your what you're doing has literally affected my life in a positive way. So we appreciate you guys so much for listening. Ellie, anything else before we close off with your last words of wisdom?
Yeah, so I'm here to kind of play a little bit of devil's advocate. Um, I want to remind everyone that disability pride is not pretending that having a disability causes zero frustration or that our lives are easy. Now, are
Mhm.
they as insanely difficult and amazing? And are we like little superheroes running around every day doing things that are out of the realm of normal? No, we're not. But it's also not easy. But it's not necessarily not easy because we're disabled. It's not easy because society makes it difficult for us.
Mhm.
It's because the world is not built for us. It's because so many things that we would like to participate in life are still yet unavailable. And we're here to change that because the world is changing, technology is changing, everything is growing and evolving and getting better with time. And that's why it is so important that we as disabled people are not just celebrated, but we're actually given the opportunity to lead initiatives, to be part of product design, to be part of AI development, to be part of all these new upcoming things that are happening in the world so that we can help ensure that those things are made with us in mind because we've been left out for far too long. And it's up to us to change that.
Absolutely. So last few calls to action that I want to give you. If you're a listener, and you've seen, one of these posts, I want you to take that graphic and I want you to run it through, some sort of color contrast analyzer or Axe DevCore. Use your screen reader, check if it has um, alt
Mm-hmm.
text. Use your eyes to see if it has any visual text in the graphic. Because
Yep.
if the graphics purpose was to convey text, that's a violation for against people who have uh, uh, low visual acuity. Take a screen reader. Is there a company that you follow? Click on their website and see if you can successfully navigate through their website and maybe apply for one of their jobs. I mean, don't click the actual apply button if you're not interested, but see how far that gets you. Or
Yeah.
if just to see if that process is accessible.
Look at
Um,
their social media. It's very easy with Facebook, even if you are not a voiceover user or a talkback user on your phone, or I guess if you access it on your computer with screen
mhm.
reader, it's very easy to just click on the picture and
Yep,
check the alt text on that
yep,
picture on
exactly.
Facebook. Does it say maybe an image of flag and text, maybe an image of text
Such and
alone,
such. Yeah.
or no photo description available?
Hmm.
Like check out what it actually says because that will tell you right from the get-go how much that particular organization has thought about what they're posting and
Hmm.
thought about the population that they are writing the post to represent.
Yep. And if you are a company, you work for a big company, you work for a little company, you're wanting to know how you can truly make an impact for Disability Pride Month. Facebook posts are great, right? Social media is awesome because you have access to a lot of information at your fingertips and you get to share the word about how great your company is. And I love being able to just share, things that affected my day, my life, my kids' lives, and how that's impacted me. But what really, really would mean something spectacular to me is if you convince your company to run a monthly audit or even just a yearly audit on your digital components. within your workspace, are there wheelchair ramps? Are there accessible signs by the bathroom? Because believe me, I've walked into the women's bathroom by mistake because there were no signs in Braille, and that's pretty darn embarrassing. Um, and then publish those numbers. I would love to see that. I challenge you to do that as a company. Publish those numbers, get those audit results from someone who knows about digital accessibility. Publish those numbers and let us know what steps you took to remedy that situation. That to me tells me that you truly, really care about Disability Pride Month. Ellie, do you want to close us out with any last few words?
Yep, just one. You do not prove that you value people with disabilities by posting about them in July. You prove that you value people with disabilities during the other 11 months of the year.
Love it. Thank you so much for all of you for listening, sharing, subscribing. Please continue to do so. Please let us know in the comments what kinds of topics you want us to talk about. We have so many on the docket that we're excited to share with you, and we will see you next time. Spill the tea on digital accessibility.
Subscribe to the WCAT WeCat podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Links below.